punish buff enjoyers in the past. One of the first teams I've seen really punish buff enjoyers in the early game, but we saw in the last match, buff enjoyers have definitely improved on the early match. So I think that's where my eyes are definitely focused here.
All right, Dan. Well, we are rolling on into it. We gotta get first glance at the lanes here in just a second. But yeah, for me, I look at the structure of this game, and while I don't think Pojilaya Skumbriya is going to be bad in the late game, I do think their comp lends itself to getting ahead in the early to mid, and it's going to be difficult if they don't. But also of note, it's not Hardeki on the 7. Hardeki's on the Warden.
But it's something to learn if you're someone that's trying to get good at this game, how to move between those lanes off the rope quickly.
It's crucial, too, because it's a difference between getting those extra souls or not being there in time with the change that was made to Troopers, where they kill each other quicker. Oh, speaking of getting killed quickly, Listic down on the ground. It's Hardeki and Zanya finding that one. Might have been a Binding Word. There's setups where you can do Puddle Punch in the Binding Word that are pretty effective, but already pressure on the D-Mob, and Pojilaya Skumbriya coming out of the gate roaring. Your mission there, Dan, is to survive, is basically where you're at.
Yeah, this is so crazy oppressive, and do we get a spot coming in through? Oh my goodness, very low on this Kelvin. Oh, in comes the pocket though. Gmoth able to get some souls back because of that. Finding off more than one can chew in Taz. Of course, still 4.2k souls, so not really sweating it too much. But that is a much needed bit of breathing room now for buff enjoyers that have been. It's been very impressive, but there is the Sleep Dagger into the Bullet Dance for a pick onto Sunset. So buff enjoyers picking up a little bit more.
Buff enjoyers slightly ahead on the aggregate so far too.
Up in here, feels like it's all buff enjoyers of late. Getting all the ganks, all the pressure. On lane 1, it was so oppressive to be against PS, but now buff enjoyers are pushing hard here. 3 players against the 2 of PS trying to defend this Guardian. And still the battle rages on over there as we're on lane 3 at the moment. And yeah, Pojilaya Skumbriya are in a little bit of trouble now. They are pushing things back on lane 1.
Pass coming online, finding Shriek to the side. Obakim now in danger, getting swapped. It's a revenge of Taz right now, Dan, after a few rough gank attempts.
Really standing out too much. But if you look on the other side of things, it is indeed Zergy on this haze that's chasing down Zanya. That is the story. 7k souls to try to leverage this advantage in items to get the kill. There's the Sleep Dagger connected in the ball, in the cube. 600 HP now being focused by the top. Oh, okay, Bullet Dance. And oh my goodness, doesn't get the kill, invested everything to do so, and comes away with an empty bag.
There, Dan, very edgy go, Viscous is in danger. No, cube is pretty good. Tower focus with the changes they made to the tower, also pretty good. And also, you talk about the idea of, like, things that hurt that. Zergy got hit with the early decay, prevented getting a decent amount of life back, too. The EU love for decay has value, and okay, round 2, Dan.
Yes. The headshots will scale up fixation a bit more quickly, so focusing on that. Trying to get that damage in, and finally Zanya will be killed. The cue ball can die after all, and just looking to push things further forward here. Having to reload, that's unfortunate, but still maybe another opportunity. Up we go. Can we finish things off here? Sunset does go down, tanking all the tower damage. Maybe you want that heal bane to get that heal off of the kill, but maybe that's an item that will be coming up shortly.
So some back and forth once more where you see a big play denied into another big play coming out. Zergy, it's kind of the idea is like you get knocked down, you get back up again. With how it went down there. And also calling a barrage for a very dishonest team.
All right, well, Listic, what have we found Listic in a pretty difficult spot. Just in this little cabin, just getting annihilated. That's lovely for him. So, Pojilaya, dude, the bridge bus coming up to be taken. Looks like here for buff enjoyers. Oh, maybe not, because in comes Taz straight in with the nade, and I think the steal, the assassinate's raining in from above, and there you go. Assassination is successful. Listic's out of the picture, and Pojilaya Skumbriya get the bridge buff. And
it was just a prank.
Oh, and the frozen shelter, so unable to continue chasing the haze. Cube comes in though to keep it set. Oh, the shot comes out. It's not actually the finish though, but still, it looked beautiful. And fighting around the mid boss now. This is looking like a very difficult scenario for MKLS here because it is Taz right behind him and more damage being thrown in, somehow still alive. Eventually, though, it's going to be inevitable, it would seem, as MKLS goes down. And so does Shriek, and Pojilaya Skumbriya going from strength to strength.
54K, the 56K. Still plenty of game left to be played here, though. Take a look here. Hardeki just fisticuffs. You think you're going to see that from an Abrams, but hey, sometimes Warden is good to throw a few hands. Also, significant pressure coming into lane 4, and an Anvil on top of Invictus head together. Gonna be grounded, but the Walker still very much getting pounded. However, you got Sharik in on the teleport saying, no, 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 you're not getting away for free. Moving on over, looking for Viscous. Takes down Zanya in turn. And that's kind of, you talk about the idea of why Mirage's value. Quick teleports like that, Dan, certainly show the reason why teams value him, even to see Listic going down the other lane.
Yeah, a lot of action now on this third lane, which might give an opportunity for Pojilaya Skumbriya to push the first lane Walker. He played with me, Wood. However, here we go. The fight now on lane 4 is where all the action is at. Buff Enjoyers and PS looking to try to win this one out over the Urn. And right now it looks like the opening kills are going towards PS. Buff Enjoyers are in a lot of trouble here, trying to get out without losing too many more players. Ice Path comes in. You can kind of use this to block the Veil a little bit, but the maneuverability here is looking lackluster as we try to escape here, but the Assassinate reigns on in, takes down Obi Kim. And PS come away with 3 kills and map control. But can they actually turn into the opposing side with that Urn?
Yeah, winning the team fight is one thing, getting the Urn turn in is another. Zanya overstaying their welcome and paying the price. And that's going to complicate potential Urn turn in here too. Once that happens, Zergy goes, all right, we're going to drop you down. Here's the bullet dance, and guess what? My skin is metal. Together, running away. Metal Skin not going to save it. Drops a nice juicy bag for Zergy. And also, that's the downside, Dan, to Assassinate. If you die after getting Assassinate, you feed the souls, in this case, directly in the Zergy's waiting mouth.
Okay, this seems scary. Cloud Storm is online for Sunset, which is a pretty strong ult for this area. And they are close enough to try to challenge this. The 2 of them are dead. But do they dare try to challenge? Rejuve is dropping.
You gotta look towards Litz here. They're not going in, they're not going in. Wait. Okay, Buff Enjoyers get it. But Pojilaya, they look at it, they go, do we want to go for it? Not quite. Buff Enjoyers, a big turnaround in the match. Pojilaya Skumbriya is still up, but Buff Enjoyers turning up the heat. Zanya, under pressure is a good pop. Moving forward, Demov down. Zanya just rolling and rolling. Not too stressed. So Buff Enjoyers down 1 Rejuve. Cube up on Zanya. I don't know if Zanya gets out of this one. Low HP, goes for the Warp Stone. Hardeki punishes on the side. 2 Rejuves down now, and Hardeki even going, no, 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 we can still do a little bit of pushing.
They're on an enormous amount. Only 3 players here for Buff Enjoyers, so they've got to be cautious. And in fact, there's the rescue beam, the Ice Path, to escape that very, very dangerous position. But in the meantime, they've actually allowed their team to have a good fight on the lane 3 Walker. They are pushing that. It's only Litz, I believe, who's in a spot to defend it. And so Buff Enjoyers pick up the lane 3 Walker. Brilliant stuff there. They forced so many PS players to go to lane 1, only to leave that lane 3 open.
And the important thing is gets a flex on Listic, though, bursted down as the Walker pressure continues. Demov going to finish it off, so that's another Walker down. Only 1 remaining for PS. Swap attempt in. And Buff Enjoyers making the most out of the Rejuves by dying and going back to base, in a sense here. But all in all, Dan, as the smoke is cleared, off the Rejuve steal, Buff Enjoyers have evened up the course of the game. 115 to 113.
He's with him to try to deliver this one, but it's not without some challenge here. We do have Demov on the pocket, trying to get in there, as well as the Kelvin, Obi Kim. But they can't deny it. There's a fight in the middle of the map as PS found Sharik, who was trying to reinforce, I think, the Urn defense, but gets caught in a 3v1, goes down, and this is going to be converted potentially into this Walker Listic, who, as you mentioned, is pretty underfarmed here in comparison to some of these other players. Cannot do anything to defend that Walker.
The mid-boss or Hardeki can just turn himself into the suicidal missile and run straight in, if the team fight does go here. Big power spike for Hardeki, and you look here, Listic under assault early in the team fight again, just going, please make the pain stop. Listic cannot get away. Target number 1 in every fight. Pojilaya Skumbriya with the advantage. Hardeki already in with the last stand. The fall through whip together, in on the top, gets the assassinate. Looking for more. A lot of unsecured souls off the assassinates. Look at that Baghdad, it's massive.
It really is.
Level of frontline diff, where Hardeki is leading the way in Unstoppable, in Last Stand, and is going to be a force in and of themselves. They're getting backed up by support from Zanya, who's also in Goo Ball, and Listic is getting run over in 0.5 seconds at the start of the fight. So Buff Enjoyers have no real safe ability to actually poke and prod, and then you have this guy. You have Together sitting here with key assassinates over and over again, stacking the bag. It's just a rough combination for Buff Enjoyers. Pojilaya Skumbriya have now put themselves in an incredible position, Dan, to get the mid-boss and finish this one out.
Yeah, they've done such good work here. This has been a really good game so far, like back and forth, but ultimately Pojilaya Skumbriya looking just so good. And let's not forget too, they were a bit ahead, and then we had somewhat of an equalizing mid-boss that came out for Buff Enjoyers. So impressed by these European teams right now. Another swap coming in. Oh my god, it's just so oppressive. I think you're right, CP. The Last Stand is, I mean, it's easy to see when Warden is able to stay on top of the power spikes, why he's so vital in these team fights.
Farm-wise, and the fact that you have a Warden this far ahead, that's what you can simply do. Quick swap on the Zergy. Listic moving forward, trying to punish Paradox, might do it this time. The cube, though, denying that. Look at the space generated by Zanya. That's unfair. Listic had a great play, but the peel from Zanya was so much better.
It's just so beautiful to watch. Such great synergies here between these heroes and their abilities. And just like you said, Pojilaya Skumbriya with the rejuve, like pushing to end this game now with all their advantages. And Together is going to get knocked down. You just hear the anvil there. I mean, knockdown is the typical counter you buy for these airborne heroes. It's also obviously nice against the Ivy. It's an important counter for Ivy. But who do you use it between? Together or the Ivy? It's hard to say, but it's not going to matter this time around. Pojilaya Skumbriya absolutely decimating the base. No one died just yet. Everyone with the rejuve buff still up.
The end game, to say the least. Buff Enjoyers, there's very little they could do to prevent Pojilaya Skumbriya from staying in, keeping pressure. Maybe Hardeki goes down here. Yeah, Hardeki goes down, but Rejuve is going to be up. Patron is in second stage. Together, just picking off kill after kill with Assassinate, where the job is easy. The space being made, especially by Zanya, has been immense. And they're not even going to wait for Hardeki to come back here, Dan. They're just going to keep pressuring, and you know, Buff Enjoyers kind of need a miracle to hold this one off.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the respawns being so fast, they can just like speed their way off of the zip line to get back in there on the fight. The pressure continues. Buff Enjoyers are forced to try to fight before the reinforcements is really there. So they're in a spot here where if PDS, yeah, they stick around, they're going to have opportunities for more kills to really just finish off the game. Sending them back here at Sunset once again. The back and forth, but in this tug of war, it feels like PS, they've got like some, I don't know, sumo wrestlers on their side on the tug of war.
And they're about to just shove them straight out of the ring. Sharik melted between Together and Hardeki. It's the Last Stand, but it's more like finishing blow is where we're at here. Unstoppable going to be popped, moves on forward, gets the Geist. The Patron, the Frozen Shelter is gone, and that's going to be Pojilaya Skumbriya taking map 1 in our best of 3.
Very impressive showing.
Well, you heard it. I think, Dan, we both agree with that sentiment very much. And this is going to be interesting because Buff Enjoyers, I feel like they made some big changes in the draft. They, you know, like we talked about, they went to weaken Hardeki. They're still going to have to deal with the Viscous, but their frontline game, much more substantial here now that they have the Warden on their side. We'll see if it's a case here once more.
Okay, well, we're going in here. Just the dive coming through with Flame, Dash, and some good damage and good pressure on this lane for Pojilaya Skumbriya, although Together's going to go down on lane.
I'm not going to take much damage. Now they rotate back over. And Yamato going, you've been helping me, I'm going to help you. Pressure into lane 3 from PS. Buff Enjoyers just end back a little bit.
Oh,
Taz!
nice.
Through the veil. Sniped and done.
Wow. I thought he was tank. I thought he had enough health to be able to survive that.
No. Again, a little bit of pressure in lane 3. You see Obikim just going, all right, I'm going to back up just a bit, as Taz has been a concealed presence. Listic, though, Get Zanya, and you have to think Listic doesn't want to repeat last game in terms of falling behind.
Yeah, I totally agree. And
Of protection that's going on. Swap, though, in early here from Buff Enjoyers. Gonna be countered here with Zanya into Goo Ball, running down Mikhail S. Oh boy. Right time, right cover with the cube, and a very timely Goo Ball there, Dan.
definitely, and just keeping the push rolling. They're trying to convert on the objective. At the same time, 3 players here for PS on lane 3 should be able to get something out of this. See what they're able to find. And a lot of damage out of the Yamato, and we talked about how hard it can be to back away as the Vindicta. Became going down. Trade found there onto together from Sharik. Good work from him. Now looks like the attention of Abrams. Listic is going to be drawn into this lane 3, so very scary here now for Pojilaya Skumbriya to hold on to this because the dive is coming. I mean, to back away though.
Right moment, drops down to the seismic slam. There's a lot of scenarios where you could see Yamato getting away. As anyone that's tried to track someone through elevation, especially around the bridge.
Once again, Zanya causing problems with the Goo Ball there, just rolling into them. So much attention here on this second lane. And just smashing into the Guardian as well. Just the movement from Zanya is just so aesthetic. Sending in more damage there before falling away. And Buff Enjoyers are definitely doing a good job right now, keeping the pressure on.
Look at the progress between both teams. You do have a flex slot up for Buff Enjoyers, and oh, no way. No way! Okay, surely, are they committing here? Is it just to get the noise? I know Together is down, but this is probably one of the more aggressive mid bosses we've seen, Dan, and it's underway.
There was an urn fight happening at the same time. This is just absolutely wild. There goes the rejuve for Buff for Pojilaya. No, for Buff Enjoyers.
Buff Enjoyers. You're getting thrown off by the split screen. I was thrown off for a second there too, but hey, new technology, we're dealing with it. No, it's Buff Enjoyers, an incredibly gutsy mid-boss call that pays off, and something needs to happen because right now, we've seen how Shiv is just kind of a guy if he falls behind. And Hardeki's looking more like a guy than the raid boss right now.
Okay, well, with the paradoxical swap, finally, Zanya is going to die. Buff Enjoyers converting nicely in this teamfight engagement, trying to take down the mid-walkers. Pojilaya Skumbriya losing 2 players so far. I don't think they'll be able to withstand these team fights. They may give up a couple walkers in all of this.
Entirely even online yet.
Yeah, and it looks like the fight is now brewing around the bridge buff. We've got the urn spawning as well. It's going to spawn over to the right side, but the fight over the bridge on this left side continues, and it's going to be Hardeki that goes down first for PS. So Buff Enjoyers opening the fight really well, taking down 3 players, snowballing this one. Pojilaya Skumbriya are in so much trouble to get the pop steal with the Yamato. Is there any kills that he can find? No, absolutely not. And what a wipe there. Buff Enjoyers taking a massive advantage now. 20k soul, 30k soul lead.
I don't think PS should have went for the mid-bridge buff there, especially not after they saw the Vindicta. That's one of the strongest areas for Vindicta in the entire game. Just great visibility to just lay down damage over the bridge buff area. PS still tries to force it, get the buff, and 2 disastrous results. The buff for Buff Enjoyers would have been nearly as bad for them to get as getting the 4 kills that they just got on the PS.
Right now, that's really helpful, I think, for Buff Enjoyers, because they're able to stay up here. They can challenge this. They can fight this. They're going to take the fight straight to Pojilaya Skumbriya as they try to get that urn to safety. It's going to be forced into the base, but that doesn't matter for Buff Enjoyers. They're going to push all the way, and Litz is in trouble here. There comes a double jump, shot straight to the face. That takes down Litz, and now the Shrines are under attack, and it seems like what was a team fight might now, or could very well be, both Shrines dying and maybe even the game.
We're definitely in the realm where a few staggers and the game is over. It is everything that could be going wrong for Pojilaya Skumbriya right now is going wrong. And you're going to see first stage Patron fall in just a moment. Buff Enjoyers, though, they're usually a little bit on the conservative side in situations like this. I would expect them to go back, secure map control, especially with Sharik dying. Now, PS, looking to get some scraps here, get a little extra souls back into their pile, but I think that 1 cleanup kill might be all they get. Task falling in hot pursuit, Yamato having the ult under pressure and immediately going down, so the chase down not even being that great in the end. Buff Enjoyers is coming back.
Yeah, big advantage for them as they maybe make this their final push. We'll have to see. 2 players being down is certainly going to give them an advantage. Sharik will come back, respawn very quickly, but they are just like pounding this very weakened patron, and they're looking to take this one home, force us to a third, and here it is. Last percentages of life, and that's victory there. Map 3 on the way. Buff Enjoyers looked amazing in map 2.
I mean, Dan, any last thoughts for Jason before we send him off here? Because we're heading into our finale, final map here in EU.
Wait, did you ask me for thoughts or Jason?
Yeah. No, if you had any questions, but it's fine. We've just kicked Jason
I'm
out.
gone.
He's out of here.
Say.
Yeah.
He's
No,
gone.
yeah, whatever. Because Kelvin is fairly self-sufficient and can play back. You leave Mirage again, can play a little bit back, not get denied too hard. Kelvin is a little bit interesting, but Obikim getting caught on one of those rotations.
Absolutely, and right now Taz is just chilling in the second lane, and might need to actually go over to lane 1 to help out, because at the moment there's a lot of damage coming in towards together potentially. 2 players there. At the same time, though, there is this fight brewing on lane 2. They're trying to chase down the kill. They're going to be successful. The swap is still up, so might be able to go towards lane 1. But they're coming to Taz here. Both lane 1 players coming across to assist that lane 2 as Taz goes across, but there's nobody on the other end of the phone.
Running into your lane at this amount. Like, both D-Mob and Mikhail S have to give that respect. Speaking of respect, you got Abrams under a bit of pressure here from Hardeki. Listic just going to dash around, and I think that's where both Listic and Sharik will head back a bit. No reason to super deep dive. Zergi, though, caught by Sunset, off in lane 4.
Not dying, which is, I think, the most important thing. I think no one dying from that exchange. Everyone getting away.
It's incredible to have this level of exchanges and also have no... Well, Litz died. I was going to say no one died, but you ruined it, Litz. You died the Ivy. That's what just happened there. But still, it's been...
Like bonus souls. But his teammates are going to suffer for that a little bit. So at what point, do you stop doing that? Oh, wow. Big push. Big fight here on lane 3 and lane 1 as well at the same time. Looks like we'll be able to escape here. Flying away, Obikim. And at the same time, lane 1 getting pushed. Is PS trying to defend their Guardian. Team off, though. Nice pick onto together. As more forces come across for both teams here, ZP.
And especially with how the next few fights take place.
Oh, going deep here. Sunset trying to make some action happen here on lane 4. And the Cloud... Ooh, the Cloud's doing well. The Cloud's on keeping Zergi alive, but the fight continues. Oh, okay, getting beamed down. 80 HP. Those towers do a lot of damage to heroes now since some of these recent updates. However, Zergi is escaped and managed to, live with that infliction on. Escape into safety, but still, there are fights amongst the heroes that were remaining. And last stand is up. There's the cube, though, to keep Warden in the fight. Hardeki is going to give him a swift punch. Listic will fall off the side. And there is a fight here over this drop-off location, so maybe it's not as simple as it maybe looks. Good follow-up there onto Sharik as well for Pojilaya Skumbriya, as they have now created a problem here for buff enjoyers as EP.
Yeah, I mean, even though not going for the urn, just splitting, finding key pickoffs across the map. But now though, as we turn to the urn, buff enjoyers looking like, yep, we do want to turn this in. They got 3 people vaguely in the neck of the woods. Ivy, of course, with the urn leading the way. You can't raw turn this in because you're just going to get swapped and die. So, Pojilaya Skumbriya, they've brought a decent amount of resistance. The real story, Dan, is what's going on here Walker-wise. Lane 3, you saw Hardeki going, yeah, I'm going to get some free damage there. Zanya, though, falling the Sharik. And I think this might be the go signal for buff enjoyers to try and turn in this urn. Certainly, you have to think that Obikim is keen.
Yeah, I don't think Together can stop it, but Together has some assistance. Taz is making his way across. Oh, there's the swap. Urn has not been collected just yet. Great pick off. And will it be a conversion onto the urn? There's still more resistance here for buff enjoyers. They're bringing across 3 more players to stop this. As Taz picks up the urn, he's going to try to deliver it. Is there anyone to stop him? The melee comes in. It's a parry, though, but unable to collect that one. And the urn is now going to be turned in. Brilliant work there from Zergi. The punch to drop the urn gets the turn in and the kills to boot. Buff enjoyers are straight back in it.
Got one question. Do you guys have parry buttons? What's going on here? One melee into another. Oh boy, and now it might be getting worse for Pojilaya Skumbriya. Buff Enjoyers looking to become kings of Europe once more, say, we can grab this mid-boss.
Fights around this mid-structure. And these kills are really important here. Pojilaya Skumbriya will lose together very early on, and the push continues here. Buff Enjoyers trying to catch more players who are disengaging. There's nowhere to go here, so Frozen Shelter it is, but this fight cannot be won by the Kelvin. Litz is going to get taken out, and that's going to convert into a Walker here for Buff Enjoyers. At the same time, they're trying to push that third lane as well. So problems all over the place here for Pojilaya Skumbriya, and they have lost even more players.
Look at this, Sharik aggressively going on the Taz, smells the blood in the water. But this is going to be the case. Taz can be real slippery on the Paradox. Zanya, though, falling in the other lane, even though Sharik is in hot pursuit. Taz was able to give him the slip, but does deal with the Walker pressure at the same time. Speaking of Walker pressure, Danny, look at what's going on here. Another Walker down.
Really well played. Just great. Again, just really capitalizing heavily off of the rejuve.
Finishes, Zergy came in.
Well, here comes the jump. Lady Geist from Demov is going to annihilate Zanya there. Warpstone is a very nice extra mobility and a chase onto Taz. Paradox can often have very good movement, but it's the rescue beam that really makes the difference.
Yeah, I was going to say, how is Taz going to get out of it this time? And I feel robbed, because instead of seeing Taz put on a movement showcase, it's just rescue beam. But Kelvin having to drop shelter just from the Geist pressure. However, swap comes in. Demov now in real danger, getting hit by the Arctic Beam. Poked from all ends, and together finishes it off with an Assassinate. And
That's a great pick.
Yeah, well, that's the key, is that not only is it a great pick, but as far ahead as it's been. And okay, the Urn turn-in is actually quite big here for Buff Enjoyers, where, yeah, they lose Demov, but they get another Urn. They keep the lead on their end. And eyes of the Soul Bag, so not only does he die and can't farm for another 30 seconds, but he also just had his bank account get hit directly. It's really bad to worse. Sunset getting picked off. Buff Enjoyers, I mean, it's just clean, concise map control right now, Dan, and I think they immediately send mid-boss here. They're not going to wait. They're going to lead to that in the moment. This last Walker here should be going down. There's not a lot of resistance that's going to happen. The extra flex slot is gained. And now Pojilaya Skumbriya, they're looking for the killing blow. Zanya is down. They're not going to have that incredible support that we saw earlier in the series when Viscus is dead early. Sunset can't even get away. Horrifically caught out. 2 down for PS. And Buff Enjoyer says, Dan, it is shrine time.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Taking down all of these structures. The base is getting absolutely demolished here. Oh my goodness. It's just all melting so quickly. It seems unfair. But hey, this is what happens when you get that snowball advantage. 40k soul advantage. Fair enough.
Stage 2 patron underway. Buff Enjoyers with full rejuvenators. A new King of Europe on the verge of being crowned. Listic just gets obliterated. So Pojilaya Skumbriya not necessarily going down without a fight, but now the damage onto the patron is in. Buff Enjoyers laying it on in. Half of the HP gone. The title of King of Europe now in play. Buff Enjoyers, just a little bit more onto the patron required. It's going down, down, down. And meet the new King of Europe, same as the first King of Europe. The Buff Enjoyers, they are back once again, Dan.